have to build upon what children know. You have to figure out what their readiness level is. So I heard someone talking about multiplying, and that's one of the standards that's now very, very explicit in third grade in the new Common Core. And they really have to understand what they're doing when they're multiplying and dividing, and they need to understand that there can be a size of a group, a number in a group, and how that works out. You have to kind of dig a little to get to where they are, knowing that every child is capable of mathematical reasoning, and that's what you want to tap into. If you've noticed, you might be that kind of person that gestures a lot. When you incorporate gesturing, kids actually perform better. And when I realized that when I was counting down, I noticed that I know that they're equal increments to counting down from 10 to 1 or to 0. And there was a study of kids that were required to use gestures and a control group that wasn't. And the kids that were required to use gestures performed better. So it's very interesting. This idea of answer blurting. We do pose math problems in this country, and the question is, why do we pose them? And what people have found is that in the U.S. we pose them for answer-getting purposes. We want kids to get the right answer. But in high-performing countries, they pose a problem to uncover the mathematics. We place so much emphasis, and they are so used to thinking that the answer is what is important rather than the reasoning and thinking that goes on, the mathematics, the properties of the operations, the understanding of place value. And I think kids that blurt out, let's explore ways that we can slow them down, or to ask not what the answer is, but to ask them other questions. They just want to kind of blurt something out to kind of mask the fact that they don't feel confident in really sticking with it and uncovering it. The Common Core is pretty darn packed when you look at the standards expected of very young children. Kindergartner now is supposed to count up to 100, starting from any given number. So starting at 25, or starting at 36, counting up to 40, or counting on to 50. Kids last year did not have what these kids now have as a base. So that has to move up through the grades, and it is challenging, but we have to kind of figure out how to do it well. And it really should be really standards driven. We should really kind of think about what the standards are asking kids to know and be able to do. The more kids can say what they know and consolidate it in conversation, the more they hold on to it. And that's hard work. But it is also a mindset. I went to a conference and they said, especially for English language learners with word problems that might be difficult, you have them read it once and they need to retell. What was the story about? Then you read it again, and maybe you don't read it each time you ask these questions. You read it again. What information are you given in this problem? And the last time is, so what is the question asking? The more you get kids to talk and talk to each other, the more they learn. And really, since you're supporting them, thinking about what can be accessed, kinds of questions you can give them. When you think about what you might say, if you can put it in the form of a question rather than a telling, that can be really helpful. So really supporting all students by asking questions. One of the things that when we think about questioning, we sometimes want to leap to a question without first listening to the child. So if a child gives the wrong answer, can you listen very carefully to the strategy, or can you look at the work to uncover something, and then what kinds of questions might you ask?